Can you suggest me what I should paint for Christmas card? I would love to hear your ideas. This video is a demo of painting a bird for a Christmas card. The sketch needed for this painting is given here and the link to the sketch is given in the description from where you can download the image. I start by wetting the background. I'm going to use uncontrolled wet on wet technique for painting the background. If you're wondering what is uncontrolled wet on wet watercolor technique, it is that pouring or applying the pigment onto the wet surface and then allow the pigment to flow freely on this wet surface. This creates a dynamic and unpredictable effect. That is, the watercolor pigment spread organically and creates a unique and expressive outcome in the artwork. While playing with the flow of water and pigment on my paper, I also define the edges of the bird using a pointed round brush. To paint this background, I mix cobalt blue with little bit of emerald green and vermilion hue to get a bluish gray. As an alternative for this combination, you can also use indigo pigment to paint the background. Instead of painting with brush, I just poured the pigment onto the wet surface and allowed the pigment to flow by tilting the board in all directions. When you tilt the board in all directions, the pigment flows on all the areas where the paper is wet and creates a beautiful background. The excess pigment which is collected near the tape is cleaned using a waistcloth. This helps in avoiding formation of cauliflower effect, or which is otherwise called as backrun. I stopped my inner critic and embraced the result achieved through this uncontrolled wet on wet watercolor technique. When the paper is still wet, I splatter some clean water to create interesting texture and effects in the background. The next step in painting the background is to paint the area below the branch. To paint this area, I use the same pigment, which is a mix of cobalt blue with vermilion hue and emerald green. I deliberately preserve the whiteness of the paper for branches and for red berries, which we are going to paint later. You can see I used 2-inch masking tape to cover the tail part of the bird and some part of the branch. These areas won't have the background and the main subject is intentionally stretching beyond the usual edges of the painting. This gives a distinctive and stylish approach to the painting. After painting the background, allow the paper to dry completely. Next step is to paint the bird. To create a grey shade, I mix cobalt blue with vermilion hue and emerald green. But if you prefer, you can also use Payne's Grey as an alternative. Using dark value of this grey, I paint the head of the bird. To paint the bird, I'm going to use a simplified approach. That is, I'm going to use only two colors, grey and orange. This simplified approach enhances the overall beauty of the painting. When using gray color, it's crucial to toggle between light and dark values based on specific areas of the bird. This helps to capture dimension and depth, bringing out the details in more realistic manner. Next step is to paint the branch and the red berries. I mixed cobalt blue with orange to get a brown shade. Alternatively, you can also use burnt umber to paint the branch. First, I paint the light value of the branch, then I add a dark value of brown for the shadow part of the branch. I paint the berries using vermilion hue. To paint the feet of the bird, I am using gray color. I am removing the masking tape that is sticked at the bottom, and then I'm going to paint the remaining part of the bird and of the branch. After finishing the painting, I allow the paper to dry and again I stick the masking tape as shown in the video. I leave a painting taped with masking tape for a day, which helps to keep the paper stretched and to prevent any formation of blotches. At last, I splattered acrylic white for the effect of falling snow. After a day, I remove the masking tape and you can see the paper is flat and there is no blotch. We reached the end of this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye bye from Prema.